After years of silence, Sarah Paulson has finally revealed what really happened to Diane Keaton, and what she said has shaken Hollywood. Her words were emotional, unexpected, and raw. Fans are calling it one of the most heartfelt confessions ever heard from an actress who rarely opens up about her private life. For years, rumors swirled. Some said Diane had quietly stepped away from the spotlight. Others claimed something far more serious had happened behind closed doors. But no one, not the media, not her co-stars, truly knew the truth. Until now. And when Sarah Paulson finally spoke, her revelation was nothing short of heartbreaking, not because it was tragic, but because it was real. The truth behind their connection has left fans reflecting, grieving, and cherishing the bond between two of Hollywood's most genuine women, from glamorous red carpets to quiet dinners away from the cameras. Sarah Paulson and Diane Keaton shared a friendship that felt timeless, one built on admiration, mentorship, and mutual respect. Diane wasn't just a Hollywood legend to Sarah. She was a guiding light, the kind of woman who leads by example, not words. But over time, fans began to notice something was different. Fewer photos, fewer mentions. Silence where there used to be laughter. And in Hollywood, silence always sparks questions. Now at 49, Sarah has finally broken that silence, and what she revealed isn't scandal or drama. It's truth. Stay with us till the end, because what Sarah said doesn't just explain what happened to Diane Keaton. It reveals a side of Hollywood that most never see. The human side. The tender side. The side where fame fades and friendship remains. Sarah Paulson has always been known for her elegance, her honesty, and her deep respect for the craft of acting. But few people know that one of her closest friendships in Hollywood was with Diane Keaton, a woman she often called her North Star. They first met years ago at a charity event. Long before Sarah's Emmy wins, and before Diane's quiet retreat from the industry. What started as admiration soon turned into a mentorship. Diane took Sarah under her wing, and together they shared not just professional advice, but the kind of emotional support that's rare in show business. They were often seen together, laughing at award shows, supporting each other at premieres, and speaking glowingly about one another in interviews. Their connection wasn't built on fame. It was built on truth, creativity, and respect. To Sarah, Diane wasn't just a legend, she was family. But like all stories in Hollywood, their friendship wasn't immune to change. It started subtly. Fans noticed that Diane Keaton, once a staple of interviews, red carpets, and film appearances, began stepping away from the public eye. The bubbly energy, the signature hats, the witty interviews, all started fading from view. Soon, people began to ask, where is Diane Keaton? Social media turned the mystery into headlines. Some whispered about health issues. Others speculated about quiet heartbreaks or personal loss. But Sarah Paulson stayed silent, gracefully, until recently. In a recent sit-down interview, Sarah was asked a simple question: do you still talk to Diane? What followed stunned everyone. Sarah took a long pause, and with tears in her eyes, she finally said, yes, but things are different now. The interviewer leaned in, and Sarah continued softly but clearly. She revealed that Diane had chosen to step away from the limelight, not because of scandal, not because of tragedy, but because she wanted peace. Fighting back tears, Sarah Paulson finally revealed the truth that fans had been wondering about for years. Diane Keaton hadn't vanished because of scandal, tension, or tragedy. She had simply chosen something far more powerful: peace. In her soft, emotional voice, Sarah shared that Diane had quietly decided to step away from the public eye to focus on her health, her loved ones, and the kind of happiness that doesn't need an audience. Diane has always been one of the strongest people I know, Sarah said. She taught me that stepping away doesn't mean disappearing, it means choosing yourself. And that's what she's done. For decades, Diane Keaton was one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces. Her smile, her energy, her humor, and that effortless confidence that made her both timeless and relatable. But behind the laughter and red carpet glamour, Sarah explained, Diane began to feel the pull of stillness. She told me once, Sarah continued, I've spent my life playing other people. Maybe now, it's time to play myself. Those words hit differently. Because in a world obsessed with attention, the idea of walking away from fame isn't weakness, it's strength. Diane wasn't running from Hollywood. She was walking toward something greater. She wanted to paint again, write again, laugh with her family, and live without cameras waiting to capture every moment. She wanted to be present, not just visible. Sarah described how Diane had found joy in the smallest things: morning coffee in her garden, sketching in her journal, rewatching old films not to relive her glory days, but to appreciate how far she'd come. She told me she finally understood that peace doesn't live on a red carpet, Sarah said softly. It lives in quiet mornings, honest conversations, and knowing you've already done enough. There was no dramatic fallout, no rift, no secret feud, just two women, one legacy, and a powerful lesson about growing older with grace. Diane didn't retire, Sarah added. She evolved. She's not gone, she's just living differently. And honestly, she's happier than I've ever seen her. It wasn't gossip, it wasn't heartbreak, it was human. A woman who had spent a lifetime performing for the world finally decided to perform for herself. And that, Sarah said, was Diane Keaton's greatest role yet. Not as a character, but as her truest self. In that moment, the room fell silent, because everyone watching understood. Sometimes, the loudest legacy isn't made in applause, but in silence. As soon as Sarah's interview aired, Hollywood lit up with emotion. Stars, directors, and longtime friends began posting photos and tributes, celebrating Diane's legacy. Meryl Streep shared a photo of them together, writing, "She never needed the spotlight needed her." Reese Witherspoon posted, "Diane Keaton taught us all that individuality is power." Even fans flooded social media with clips, interviews, and old red carpet moments, calling her Hollywood's timeless heartbeat. For once, the internet wasn't filled with drama, it was filled with love. Sarah Paulson's revelation reminded the world of something profound. Fame is fleeting, but authenticity lasts forever. In an industry obsessed with youth, Diane Keaton became a symbol of self-acceptance, showing that aging isn't a loss, it's a liberation. Her story, told through Sarah's eyes, is a reminder that walking away doesn't mean giving up, it means you've already given enough. It also says something about Sarah herself, that she's become the kind of woman Diane always believed she could be, strong, honest, and unafraid to speak from the heart. In truth, this wasn't a story about loss, it was a story about legacy, one woman quietly passing her strength to another. At 49, Sarah Paulson didn't just reveal what happened to Diane Keaton, she revealed what happens when an artist decides to live life on their own terms. Her words were more than a tribute, they were a celebration of choice, courage, and freedom. Diane Keaton's laughter, her style, her authenticity, they're all still here, just no longer on camera. And maybe that's the most powerful lesson of all, that sometimes, the most beautiful act of self-expression is simply living in peace. Sarah's revelation didn't end the story of Diane Keaton, it reminded us why her story will never truly end. What do you think is Diane Keaton's quiet life, her goodbye to Hollywood, or her ultimate act of Share your thoughts in the comments below. And let's celebrate to women who remind us that legacy isn't about staying visible, it's about staying real. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true Hollywood stories that honor the hearts behind the headlines. Because the greatest stories are not the ones we see on screen, they're the ones that still move us long after the lights fade.